This is Mon Health Talk, a weekly program focusing on the dedicated physicians, nurses, and staff at Mon Health, the region's premier community hospital system. People with skillful hands and bright minds using state-of-the-art technology. We don't just practice medicine, we care for people like family. That's why at Mon Health you can feel the difference. Once again, welcome to this edition of Mon Health Talk.
Good morning. Welcome into the program. Mon Health Talk, Dave Wilson with you. Our guest this morning is Jacob Mulder, Director of Volunteer and Guest Services at Mon Health Medical Center. As you may have already guessed, we're going to be talking about volunteer services at Mon Health. Jacob, good morning. Thanks for coming in, buddy.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Let me try that again and put you on the right mic. Say good morning, Jacob.
Good morning.
All right, buddy. Good to see you. And I appreciate you coming in this morning. All right, I don't know. Did they warn you about coming on this show? Did Abby tell you?
She just warned me a little bit.
All right. It's easy stuff, but you must talk about yourself just a little bit. So talk a little bit about your background, where you're from, where you went to school, and how you ended up working with Mon Health.
So I originally come from Wisconsin, so if my accent comes out a little bit, my apologies. I went to school in Indiana. Background's environmental science and environmental education for my master's, and then moved to Athens, Ohio for a little bit, got involved with a church there, and that church actually came and planted in Morgantown, so that's how I ended up as a transplant to Morgantown, West Virginia.
Oh, very cool. So how did you get connected with Mon Health and start working with volunteer services?
So during the time of COVID, I came in as a screener to help screen all of our patients and visitors. And while this was a very stressful time, the leadership that I had around me at Mon made me feel supported, and I started feeling like part of the Mon Health community that care about their patients as well as their employees. So really valued Mon Health's vision and wanted to stay part of that family.
Is this something you ever saw yourself doing as you were kind of, putting the career path together?
It was not in exactly the future that I had thought I was going to be, but I love working with volunteers because they are such an incredible part of the community. Volunteers are always driven and genuine and passionate about their communities, so I really have loved to be part of that and can't think of anywhere else I'd rather be.
Yeah, when we talk about the health system and the medical institutions here in Montague County, obviously, you think of the doctors, you think of nurses, all of these different positions, but the volunteers, Jacob, play such an important role. So give us an idea of the role that the volunteers play within Mon Health's health system.
Yeah, we collaborate with the various departments at Mon in areas that directly support patients and their loved ones. These roles play a vital part in allowing staff to focus on delivering expert care to patients while also bringing small moments of brightness to everyone they interact with, including both staff and patients. We have volunteers that are college students, high school students, and also adults, so we have the gamut of all of our volunteers.
Talking to Jacob Mulder this morning, Director of Volunteer and Guest Services at Mon Health Medical Center. So do they help contribute to the overall environment at the medical center?
Yeah, we have volunteers in many different roles, support a variety of departments that help patients and visitor experience. In patient-centered roles, volunteers may serve in our emergency room or our endoscopy area, helping patients to their cars or resetting rooms for those next patients. Volunteers also assist with just clerical tasks such as filling or organizing materials to help hospital staff focus on direct patient care. These roles enable volunteers to make a meaningful impact through small but essential tasks that contribute to Mon Health's compassionate, supportive environment.
So you mentioned you have the range from teenagers all the way to the adults, people volunteering. Are you getting, high school kids who have community service projects? You're getting adults who may have retired? It sounds like you're getting a little bit of everybody there at the volunteer services.
A lot of the high school students come serve during the summer months to get their volunteer hours, as well as the college students on various reasons. But also those adults, we get adults that are in transition between have just some open time, can volunteer with us, and then a lot of retired adults as well that come in and volunteer with us.
Do you have a lot of long-term volunteers, people who came and have just enjoy the experience and stick around for years and years?
Yes, we do. We have a lot of volunteers that have definitely been there longer than I have. I've been only in the position for about a year, and so it's great to have that wisdom from other volunteers that have been serving on the boards of maybe of our auxiliary or other areas for 20 or 20 plus years.
If I want to volunteer, do I have to have experience in the medical field, or can I just come and go, hey, I'm available, put me to work?
That would be great. If you want to come, you can start this week. You do not have to have any experience within the medical field. You just have to have a compassionate heart to come and make a true difference to those patients and visitors that are coming in.
Are there any specialized volunteer positions where someone who has some experience in certain areas is helpful?
A lot of it is just that general. We just want a caring face. So we have our caring cart, which is a mobile service that volunteers bring around the hospital, offering complimentary comfort items to patients and visitors. Those are stocked with like stress balls, coloring books, just as meaningful little items for those patients that are stuck within the hospital, as well as our care closet, which helps essential personal items, especially clothing. If somebody came into the emergency room and they had to have their clothes cut off, we want to provide them with clothes. And our gift shop, which offers a welcoming space for visitors and staff to be able to provide those little nice trinkets for those patients and visitors.
Talking to Jacob Mulder this morning. He's Director of Volunteer and Guest Services at Mon Health Medical Center, and we're talking about volunteer service opportunities. We'll continue the conversation. Got to take a quick break. We're back in a moment. This is Mon Health Talk on WAJR.
Now back to Mon Health Talk, a discussion of the issues, people, and procedures in healthcare today. If you have a question for one of our healthcare guests, call now at 304-296-0041.
Jacob Mulder is joining us this morning. He is Director of Volunteer and Guest Services at Mon Health Medical Center. And go ahead and throw this in. If someone wants to volunteer or they want to learn more, how can they find out more?
Go onto our website, onto Mon Health. You'll click on our Mon Health Medical Center, and then we have a tab that's Auxiliary and Volunteers. There's information more about areas of volunteering, as well as how to apply, and as some contact information on there, which was the mhmc.volunteers@vandaliahealth.org.
So, if you volunteer, do you get a work schedule, or can you say, hey, I'm available at these times? What does that look like?
We have a couple of different ways that you can get involved. One is volunteers that serve a normal schedule, 4 hours a week we ask for. On any day, you can come in, serve in an area, but we also have our auxiliary, which is a little bit more casual, relaxed. They come in and do our fundraising, our community support, our community efforts, such as our Ball of the Year, and that one is just taking time throughout your week to come in and volunteer to help serve those projects, such as football parking on the weekends. We have folks come in and help park cars down in our 1,000, 2,000, and 3,000 lots.
When you've had an opportunity to speak to volunteers and talk to them a little bit, what do they tell you is the best part of the job, or maybe the most impactful to them personally, actually, for volunteering?
Yeah, I think it's just those small, meaningful interactions that most volunteers have. It's those just small talks that volunteers have. I'm reminded of our care cart lady. She just takes the time to sit down and chat with a patient, offering them company and listening ear. And knowing that a patient had small talk to someone and it brightened their day even a little bit is an incredible rewarding, and reinforces those importance of those personal connections in healthcare, and I think is a lot of the reasons that our volunteers come in and serve.
Yeah, anyone who has either been in the hospital or you've had family in the hospital, there's a lot of people in and out. And just an opportunity, even if it's 5 minutes, that doesn't sound like much, but to have a normal conversation, to take a minute, to just talk about the weather, talk about the ball game.
Yes.
We need to fire this coach and hire that coach. It makes a difference, and you may not realize it at the time if you're on the other end of that, if you're the volunteer. But if you are the person in the hospital or has the family in the hospital, it makes a huge difference, and you can't really. Clearly, I'm having trouble describing that, but you can't really describe the impact it has.
Yeah, a lot of these patients might just be sitting there without family for a while. It's just great to have that interaction with somebody that can take their time and listen to them and have those conversations.
Talking to Jacob Mulder this morning. He's Director of Volunteer and Guest Services at Mon Health Medical Center. How has volunteering impacted you personally?
Yeah, volunteering has had a profound impact on me. Deepening my appreciation for the power of kindness and connection in healthcare. Being part of this program has allowed me to witness firsthand how small gestures can make a significant difference for patients and their families. What I enjoy most is working alongside such dedicated and compassionate volunteers who truly want to give back. Their passion is inspiring, and it continually motivates me to do my best for our community and to create an environment where volunteers feel valued and empowered.
What's been maybe the most surprising thing you've learned since taking this role over the last year?
The most surprising thing that I've learned, it's that volunteers, this is their time. They can choose to go anywhere or do anything else, but they actually take their time to be here, to give back to the community, to give back to this hospital. It really does inspire me to look at myself and just encourage those around me to get involved in volunteering.
Talking to Jacob Mulder this morning, Director of Volunteer and Guest Services at Mon Health Medical Center. Got to take our final break. We'll be back, wrap things up, again, tell you how you can get involved. We'll do that in just a moment. This is Mon Health Talk on WAJR.
This is Mon Health Talk, providing a window into the Mon Health system and the dedicated healthcare providers who work there. If you'd like to comment or ask a question, please call 304-296-0041.
Jacob Mulder is our guest this morning, Director of Volunteer and Guest Services at Mon Health Medical Center. This question's a bit out of left field, but you mentioned the Ball of the Year. That was just, last week, right?
It was on Saturday, yep.
Everything go well?
It did. It was a great time. We celebrated our 60th anniversary of the ball. It was wild, wonderful, and whimsical was the theme. It was very successful. We continued to raise funds for our Caring Cottage, which provides accommodations for patients and families. As the fundraiser has actually expanded over this years, it will be transitioning to our Mon Health Foundation for continued growth, which brings an exciting chance for our auxiliary to shift our focus onto its new fundraiser, the Derby, which will be an annual Kentucky Derby-themed event.
I'm going to go out on a limb and guess we will talk about that on this program at some point.
We'll continue to talk about that, yes.
With all of these opportunities to volunteer, whether at the hospital, through the auxiliary, there's something for everyone out there who wants to get involved in the community.
There really is, from just those small patient interactions like we were talking to going out on our football parking days, interacting with patients and visitors through there. There's a lot of different ways that you can get involved.
Is this a good opportunity if you are, say, a high school student, maybe considering, do I want to go into the medical field? Do I want to go into this profession? Is this a good way to get exposed to it?
Yeah, this is a great way. You can explore different opportunities throughout the hospital. We also offer scholarship opportunities for junior volunteers who have reached a certain amount of hours and are planning on going into the medical field. So it's another good opportunity to get in, get some experience, and potentially get a scholarship out of it.
Yeah, that's a good deal to get some experience. And I always say, especially high school kids, maybe if you can get an idea, get a taste of some of these different professions instead of just going, doctor.
Yes.
It really helps in the decision-making process and gives you a little bit of a head start.
Yes, it does. There's so many different areas throughout hospitals, such as I'm the Director of Volunteer and Guest Services. Didn't really think that was maybe an opportunity within a hospital, but you have MDC, which is our materials, you have housekeeping, and plus you have all the physicians and all those services as well. So a variety of areas that you can get involved with in a hospital.
That's a great point, and something I've learned over doing this show over the course of several years. You think hospital, it's got to be something medical related, but hospitals are like small cities, right? It takes all different skills, all different jobs to make these institutions function.
It really does. You don't realize it until you actually set foot into a hospital and start working there, of all the different interactions and how these different departments work together to be able to serve their patients and their visitors.
What kind of, we talked about you'll take anybody who's willing to give some time, but what makes a good volunteer?
Any volunteer that is compassionate, reliable, and eager to help, a willingness to connect with others and support various departments is essential. Volunteers who enjoy making a positive impact on patients, families, and staff thrive in our hospital community. Some time requirements, we ask for 4 hours a week, but we also have those other projects run through the auxiliary that do not require weekly volunteer hours.
I keep trying to make the same point over and over, but I think it's worth repeating. There being something for everyone. You've got opportunities for people persons, I guess, who like extroverts, if you will,
Yes.
to have those conversations you're talking about. But you don't have to be a people person. There are other volunteer opportunities to do game day parking, to help with whatever. My point being, Jacob, I'm going to keep hammering this for the last 3 minutes. There's something for everybody.
There really is. You can come in and serve. We will find an area for you. There is opportunities, like we were mentioning, different departments throughout the hospital. Those different departments have different type of folks, and we are always looking for a variety of folks that come in and volunteer with us.
So how do you start the process again?
We go on our website is the best area, and once you get into the Mon Health Medical Center and look for the tab that says volunteers/auxiliary, go on that page and there's an applications on there, or you can reach out through us at mhmc.volunteers with an S at the end of that at vandaliahealth.org, or you can reach out to myself at jacob.mulder@vandaliahealth.org, or call into the hospital 304-598-1200, ask for the volunteers, and they'll transfer you over to either myself or my volunteer coordinator.
And at that point, is it just a matter of trying to figure out what the individual is interested in and where you guys have a need?
Yeah, we just want to have a conversation with you. We kind of do an interview process, talk about all the other types of requirements that we might need from you. It is a hospital, so you need a flu shot to volunteer with us. Just kind of getting those general basic things for volunteering, and then once we have that, we'll send you and we'll get you placed with somebody.
Jacob Mulder, Director of Volunteer and Guest Services at Mon Health Medical Center. I'll give you 30 seconds here. This is your campaign pitch, since we're in campaign season. Why should someone come volunteer at the hospital?
Volunteering is just really a great way to get involved with your community, to serve those around you, and if you're looking to have interactions, to be a difference, Mon Health and the volunteers is a great way to do that.
Jacob Mulder, Director of Volunteer and Guest Services, Mon Health Medical Center. Jacob, nice for you to come in. Appreciate it. Enjoyed the conversation today, buddy.
Thank you for having me.